Chapter 11.
تمام.
The Rescue and the Missed Connection. Phileas Fogg, accompanied by the courageous soldiers, rushed into the freezing American wilderness to rescue his loyal valet, Passepartout.
أيوه أيوه
They had
القصة
departed on
من
the evening of December 6th, leaving Ajuda, Fix, and the
سبق خلفهم زي مشى عشان ينقذ خادمهم المخلص سوارته وساب الركاب خلفه.
remaining passengers behind with the damaged train carriages. Guided by loyalty and honor, virtues that momentarily outweighed even his legendary punctuality, Fogg pressed forward through the night. They followed the faint tracks left by the retreating Sioux, moving across rugged plains filled with danger and uncertainty. After nearly 24 hours of relentless pursuit and a brief but fierce clash with a small group of warriors, the rescue party located the main Sioux camp. Through a daring and silent strategy, they distracted the guards long enough for Fogg to slip into a tent where Passepartout lay bound.
If you don't have a website for your business, it might as well be invisible. Hosting your AI helps you.
Without hesitation, Fogg cut the ropes and pulled his servant free. Their escape was swift and successful. By the time they returned to the train's location, the engine had just arrived with reinforcements from a nearby military post. Ajuda and Fix were overwhelmed with relief when they saw Fogg and Passepartout returned safely. Their reactions, however, came from very different hearts. Ajuda from gratitude and admiration, Fix from the grim satisfaction that the bank robber was still on course for Britain. But joy quickly turned to dread. Fogg checked his watch. It was the evening of December 7th. Nearly 30 hours had been lost. The transcontinental express was gone, and the next train would arrive far too late. The challenge seemed ruined. The wind sledge solution. Fogg, refusing to surrender, immediately sought an alternative plan. The remaining passengers told him that the next major station, Omaha, Nebraska, was still 50 miles away, accessible only by crossing open area now dusted with snow. A captain from the military post explained that horses would move too slowly through the deep
أيوة. في تلج.
drifts, but he offered an unusual alternative, a wind sledge, a light vehicle fitted with runners and a tall sail, used by hunters to cross frozen ground at remarkable speeds. Fogg seized the opportunity. He hired the sledge and its driver, Mudge, at an incredible price. A powerful eastward wind filled the sail, perfect for their desperate journey. Fogg, Ayuda, Passepartout, and Fix climbed aboard the
أيوة.
small, uncomfortable craft. The ride was very cold yet thrilling. The sledge raced across the frozen area, gliding over the snow with astonishing speed. They reached Omaha just as the first Chicago-bound train was departing. Fogg had regained much of the lost time through determination and expense. From Omaha they sped to Chicago, and from Chicago they caught a direct express to New York. The journey was swift but tense. Fix became increasingly anxious. Passepartout did everything he could to encourage his master, and Ayuda watched over Fogg with quiet, constant concern. They crossed America's vast landscape, passed the Great Lakes, and entered the busy stretch of the eastern states. Arrival in New York, December 11th. The group arrived in New York City at 11:45 a.m. on December 11th, an extraordinary recovery considering the Sioux attack. Fogg rushed to the docks, certain that he would catch the White Star liner China,
ليفربول.
scheduled to sail for Liverpool at 12:00 p.m. He believed he had 15 minutes to spare. The docks were chaotic.
أيوة.
After pushing through the crowds, Fogg reached the correct terminal, only to see the China already steaming out of the harbor, its funnels trailing thick smoke. He had missed it by 45 minutes. This was the worst disaster yet. The next transatlantic ship would not depart for a week. Fogg could not afford even a single day's delay. His face momentarily showed distress, but only for a heartbeat. "We must find another means," he said simply. The desperate purchase of the Henrietta. Fogg guided Ayuda and Passepartout to a small hotel and immediately began inspecting the docks for any ship capable of crossing the Atlantic. At last he found one, a three-masted schooner called the Henrietta, anchored at Pier 11. It was small but strong, built for speed and used mainly for pilot duty or swift cargo runs. Its captain, Andrew Speedy, was a grizzled, irritable man with little patience for negotiation. "Captain Speedy," Fogg said, "I wish to charter your vessel to Liverpool." Speedy burst into loud laughter. "To Liverpool? The Henrietta is bound for Bordeaux, and shall not change course for any price." Fogg immediately presented his famous bag of money, £2,000 to take us to Liverpool. Speedy refused. He had a contract for Bordeaux. Fogg raised the offer, 2,000 to take us to Bordeaux, and another 2,000 to take us on to Liverpool. The captain, stunned by the enormous sum, agreed, but only to take them as passengers and only on the Bordeaux route. Fogg paid at once and returned for his companions. That evening the four boarded the Henrietta. Captain Speedy, though enriched, was irritable and deeply suspicious.
الفرحة السقفة الغنى بقى اكسترا بنلعب اكسترا ونضحك اكسترا ودي بامبرز بريميوم كير بقى اكسترا لوشن بالالوفيرا اكسترا راحة واكسترا نعومة وفي اخر اليوم نايمين عالطرف سكوت ولا حرف وصورنا زادت صورة عالرف بامبرز بريميوم اكسترا كير دلوقتي 50% اكسترا لوشن بالالوفيرا.
Serious dictation was driving me crazy, so I switched to whisper flow. Here's why I'll never go back. First off, it actually gets
The Mutiny and the Fire. The Henrietta sailed from New York on the night of December 11th. Fogg soon realized that Captain Speedy would never willingly divert toward Liverpool, so he prepared an even bolder
8 و6 دقايق. 8 و6 دقايق. دقت 7.
plan.
تمام.
2 days later, he
Right.
approached the captain. "I wish to buy your ship," he said calmly. Speedy refused. Fogg increased his offer, £800 per mast plus the value of the hull. Speedy refused again. Realizing negotiation was hopeless, Fogg quietly spoke with the crew. Tempted by generous bonuses, they agreed to support him. Fogg invited Captain Speedy to his cabin to rest and talk. He offered him a very strong herbal tea that made the captain feel extremely tired, and he soon fell into a deep sleep. While Speedy was unconscious, Fogg took control of the ship. He ordered the crew, now loyal to him because of his authority, to change course toward Liverpool. The captain woke up 2 days later, locked in his cabin and furious, but unable to stop what had happened. Burning the ship for steam. Mid-Atlantic. Another crisis struck. The coal was running low. Strong headwinds consumed fuel at a rapid pace. The engineer warned Fogg that they would never reach Ireland, not with the remaining coal. Fogg made his most astonishing decision yet. He called Captain Speedy, now defeated, and said, "I will pay you £1,000 for the remainder of your vessel, everything except the